Macros. A macro is a recorded sequence of inputs that gets replayed with one button press. You click once and the software runs a full chain of actions for you with perfect timing, like a tiny robot living inside your mouse. Sounds innocent enough, and sometimes it actually is. Macros are used for simple quality of life stuff like auto-clicking in idle games, sorting messy inventories in Minecraft, or repeating boring crafting loops. In those cases, it's less cheating and more, I refuse to suffer through this UI again. The same system can be used for rapid-fire weapons, recoil control so perfect it looks suspicious, bunny hopping across maps like you're on a trampoline, or frame-perfect combos human fingers couldn't pull off without warm-up stretches. That's where convenience turns into unfair advantage. Most players first meet macros through tools like Logitech G-Hub or Razer Synapse, which can store input chains directly on the mouse itself, meaning the game just sees normal inputs, no scripts, no hacks, just a player with the reaction time of a caffeinated supercomputer. Anti-cheat systems hate this, not because it's invisible, but because it looks too normal. Most anti-cheat tools search for memory edits, injected code, or impossible in-game behavior. Not, this guy clicks like a machine god. The real giveaway is consistency. Humans are chaotic. We misclick, we hesitate, we panic. Macros don't. No-Recoil. If Aimbot is the cheat everyone talks about, No-Recoil is the one quietly ruining ranked games and sanity in the background. In titles like Counter-Strike 2 and Valorant, strong weapons are designed to kick hard so players actually have to learn them. Some players spend hundreds of hours building that control. Others spend 5 minutes installing a script. The moment you shoot, the script pulls your mouse downward in the exact pattern needed to cancel recoil. The result is a rifle that feels like it suddenly found enlightenment and stopped shaking completely. Things got controversial when tools like Logitech G-Hub allowed Lua scripting for this exact purpose. Anti-cheat struggles because nothing looks wrong. No files modified, no memory touched, just perfect mouse movement. The deeper problem is design. Recoil is deterministic. It repeats exactly, which makes it scriptable. Developers could randomize it, but that often makes gameplay feel worse. So they're stuck. And that's why No-Recoil is so frustrating. No spread. If No-Recoil helps you control your gun, no spread rewrites the rules of the game itself. Even with your crosshair perfectly on target, many shooters add randomness to where bullets actually land. That's spread. No spread cheats remove that randomness entirely, usually by editing the game's memory directly. The cheat finds the value responsible for weapon spread and sets it to 0. No-Recoil sits in a gray area of mouse software and scripts. No spread is almost always considered a full-blown cheat, and an instant ban if detected. So why does this even exist? Performance. Calculating every bullet trajectory server-side for every player would increase server load significantly, especially in large multiplayer matches. So some of that work is handled on the client, which unfortunately gives cheaters something to manipulate. In games like Call of Duty Warzone during 2023-2024, spread-related cheats became a serious issue before anti-cheat updates like Ricochet made them harder to exploit. Triggerbot. If an aimbot aims for you, a triggerbot is a bit more subtle. It waits until your crosshair passes over an enemy, then fires automatically. You still do the aiming, it just handles the timing. Triggerbots usually work in two ways. Some detect enemy pixels or outlines on the screen, while more advanced versions read game memory to know exactly when an enemy hitbox lines up with your crosshair. The moment it matches, it shoots. Human reaction time is around 200 to 250 milliseconds. A Triggerbot can respond much faster. What makes it harder to detect is that it doesn't move your aim. From the outside, the gameplay still looks normal. It just looks like good timing. Because of that, anti-cheat systems often look for impossible reaction times, like consistent firing within 20 to 30 milliseconds of spotting an enemy. But cheat developers adapted. Many Triggerbots now add random delays, 120 milliseconds, 180, 220, to look human, basically cheating with a fake heartbeat. Some even go further with hardware setups using external capture devices, which detect enemies and send firing inputs outside the game entirely, making them even harder to trace. Aimbot. When most people hear the word cheat, this is what they picture: the aimbot. An aimbot reads enemy positions from the game's memory, calculates the exact angle to hit them and moves your aim to match. The most infamous version is the headshot aimbot, which locks onto head hitboxes instead of center mass. In Counter-Strike 2, Valorant, and PUBG Battlegrounds, where headshots end fights instantly, that's all it needs to dominate. Bad aimbots are obvious instantly. Modern aimbots, though, are much more subtle. They add smoothing, limits on aim speed, tiny delays, and restricted fields of view so movements look human. Instead of snapping, they just look like unreal consistency. Like someone having their best day every day. That's what makes detection harder. Anti-cheat systems now analyze aim behavior, movement curves, reaction timing, tracking patterns. Even streamers have been caught over the years, sometimes through suspicious clips, sometimes through accidental on-stream evidence. The internet rarely forgets those moments. Most experienced cheaters will tell you the real power has nothing to do with aim. The real power is knowing where the enemy is before the fight even begins. ESP, or Wallhacks. If aimbot wins gunfights, ESP wins information. And in most competitive games, information is even stronger. ESP stands for extrasensory perception, which sounds like a superpower because in games, it basically is. It reveals information you were never meant to see. Player names, health, weapons, distance, and most importantly, positions. Wall hacks usually sit inside ESP. They're the part that lets you see enemies through solid walls. The way it works is fairly direct. The cheat reads player position data from game memory and then overlays it on your screen. What makes ESP especially dangerous is that it doesn't make players look obvious. There's no snapping aim, no robotic movement. A player can still look completely legitimate. Good crosshair placement, smart rotations, perfect timing, because they already know where everyone is. And this is where things get uncomfortable for developers. In many older games, client devices receive data about every player on the map. And those behind walls? The wall hack didn't invent that information. It just exposed what the game was already handing over. Modern games like Valorant fixes this with Fog of War, refusing to send data about enemies you can't see. No data means nothing to steal. But many games still don't bother, which is why ESP still exists. Godmode. If aimbots are the most famous cheat, Godmode is the oldest fantasy. Because every player has had that moment where they thought, what if I just didn't take damage? The idea is simple. Make your character effectively invincible. In older games, this often meant finding the health value in memory and locking it at maximum. Take damage, instantly heal. Take more damage, instantly heal again. Health is one of the easiest things to validate server-side. If the server says you took 50 damage, then you took 50 damage. End of discussion. Your client shouldn't get a vote. That's why properly designed games like Valorant and Overwatch 2 make true God mode practically impossible. The server controls health, not the player. But not every game was built that way. One of the most infamous examples was Grand Theft Auto Online. For years, God mode glitches and cheats flooded public lobbies because parts of the networking system trusted information coming from the client far more than it should have. The result was exactly as ridiculous as you'd expect. Players survived rocket launchers, tank shells, entire firing squads, and enough explosions to qualify as a small military exercise. Because unlike aimbots or wall hacks, God mode exploits trust, not skill. If the game trusts the client with something as important as health, eventually someone is going to abuse it. Quick thing, if you've raged at any of these cheats in your life, hit the like button. It tells the algorithm to push this to more gamers who've been through the exact same thing. Money cheats. At some point, cheating stopped being about winning matches. It became about making money. Money cheats generate currency, items, or progression without earning them. And unlike an aimbot ruining one match, they can wreck entire game economies. Some use memory editing, changing a currency value from 100 coins to 9,999,999. Others abuse packet duplication, tricking the game into processing the same transaction repeatedly. The most interesting ones use genuine bugs. Players discover a glitch that duplicates items, spreads it online, and suddenly thousands of identical legendary swords appear out of nowhere. Virtual inflation turns out to be just as annoying as real inflation. Games like RuneScape, World of Warcraft, Diablo 3, and Grand Theft Auto Online have all dealt with major currency exploits or item duplication scandals over the years. When too much currency enters a game, prices become meaningless. Rare items lose value, entire trading systems break, Suddenly, the economy turns into monopoly money. This is also where cheating becomes an actual business. Large botting operations farm gold, items, and resources around the clock, then sell them through third-party marketplaces for real money. Some operations generate thousands of dollars a month doing nothing but converting game time into cash. The strongest defense is a server-side ledger. Every item, every coin, every trade recorded and verified by the server. Creating money from thin air becomes nearly impossible. But that's expensive. So some games cut corners. Historically, those shortcuts have led to some spectacular disasters. From Diablo 3 economy problems to GTA Online glitches that allowed players to generate absurd amounts of in-game wealth. Most of this isn't criminal, but it almost always violates a game's terms of service. The moment real money gets involved, developers tend to become a lot more interested. Flying, speed hacks, and teleporting. Some cheats help you aim, some help you survive, and some just look like the player accidentally enabled creative mode in the middle of a multiplayer match. Flying cheats, no-clip hacks, speed hacks, and teleport hacks all belong to the same family. Movement manipulation. Instead of following the game's physics, the cheat directly modifies the player's position in memory. Gravity, collision, walls, and movement limits suddenly become optional suggestions. Players floating through the air, running at absurd speeds, or casually walking through solid walls like they forgot reality was enabled. This was especially common in older games because many servers trusted the client to report its own position, which sounds reasonable until you remember the client belongs to the person trying to cheat. The classic example is Minecraft. Fly hacks have existed for years because modified clients can simply tell the server, "Yep, I'm definitely standing on something right now." Without proper validation, the server often believes them. Speed hacks became infamous during the Counter-Strike 1.6 era. Some cheats manipulated timing systems to make players move far faster than intended, creating matches that looked less like tactical shooters and more like someone holding fast forward on reality. Then there's teleporting. The cheat sends fake position updates and suddenly a player appears halfway across the map. Convenient for the cheater, slightly confusing for everyone else. Modern games fight this with movement validation. The server checks if a player's reported position is physically possible given their last position and elapsed time. Someone moving 200 meters in half a second tips it off instantly. Games with strong server authority catch this almost instantly. Games without it tend to discover that players can apparently sprint faster than military aircraft. Lag switching. You've probably seen this before. An enemy freezes for a moment, then suddenly teleports across the room, deletes you in half a second, and you're left staring at the respawn screen wondering what just happened. Sometimes that's just bad internet. Sometimes it's a lag switch. A lag switch intentionally disrupts network communication to create an advantage. Stop or delay sending data to the server. Keep moving and fighting locally, then reconnect and send everything at once. The old school method used hardware. Literally, a switch on an Ethernet cable to cut the connection on demand. Later, software versions appeared that throttle or block outgoing packets without touching physical hardware. The exploit works because of server reconciliation. When the connection comes back, some games try to catch up by accepting delayed actions. On poorly designed systems, that means movement, shots, and positioning can get applied retroactively. To the victim, it looks like chaos. To the cheater, it looks like a free advantage. This was especially notorious during older Call of Duty titles like Black Ops 2, where lag switching forced developers to redesign how they handled packet loss. Modern games now monitor connection behavior more closely. Suspicious packet loss patterns can be ignored, rolled back, or invalidated entirely. The giveaway is consistency. Real lag is random. Lag switches usually aren't. DDoS. Up until now, we've been talking about cheating. This is where things stop being about cheating and start becoming actual crime. A DDoS attack, distributed denial of service, isn't a game exploit at all. It targets the player's internet connection directly. The idea is simple. Flood someone's network with so much fake traffic that their connection can't handle real data anymore. In a match, that means lag spikes, disconnects, or getting kicked out entirely, right when it matters most. The first step is usually getting the target's IP address. In older games, this was possible through peer-to-peer connections, voice chat systems, or weak networking setups. Today, many attacks are run through booter or stressor services, websites that flood a target with traffic for a small fee. Forget bans. This is the legal issue territory. In many countries, including the US and UK, DDoS attacks are criminal offenses under laws like the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act and the Computer Misuse Act. People have been prosecuted, fined, and even jailed for it. Operators behind large-scale attacks like the Mirai botnet have faced arrests, restitution orders, and federal prosecution. The FBI and Europol regularly shut these services down. Modern games have also reduced the risk by moving away from peer-to-peer connections to dedicated servers, which hide player IPs much more effectively. DMA, Direct Memory Access. If macros are the beginner cheat, DMA is the final boss. This is the one that keeps anti-cheat developers up at night. Most cheats have one big weakness: they run on the same PC as the game. DMA cheats completely bypass that problem. Instead of running on the gaming PC, a second device reads the game's memory directly using specialized PCI hardware. The cheat operates externally, while the actual gaming machine stays completely clean. That's what makes it so dangerous. The cheating is happening outside the scope of the game entirely. This is why major systems like BattlEye, Vanguard, Ricochet, and Easy Anti-Cheat struggle with DMA detection. The only real downside is cost. Regular cheats might cost a few dollars a month. DMA setups can cost hundreds or even thousands. At that price, nobody's doing this casually. It's usually paired with external ESP or radar displays on a second monitor, showing full map information while the main game looks normal to observers. And yes, it has been linked to multiple high-profile streamer cheating accusations in games like Escape from Tarkov, PUBG Battlegrounds, and Warzone. Anti-cheat systems are responding with hardware security, TPM requirements, and deeper behavior tracking, but DMA remains extremely hard to fully eliminate. That's why competitive tournaments rely on LAN setups, physical inspections, and controlled environments. Because when someone is willing to build a second computer just to gain an advantage, software alone stops being enough. And that's the uncomfortable direction cheating has moved in, away from the game and straight into the hardware underneath it. And that's the world of video game cheating, from harmless macros to felony-level DDoS attacks and DMA cheats that anti-cheats still struggle to stop. The common thread? Cheaters make the choice, but developers often leave the door unlocked. Anti-cheat systems are getting better, but the arms race is far from over. What's the worst cheat you've ever seen in a game? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns like this, hit subscribe. Now, here's the thing. Half the time a game runs badly, it isn't a cheater. It's a graphics setting nobody bothered to learn. Render scale stuck at 70%. Motion blur fighting your eyes. Ray tracing eating 40 frames for reflections you barely notice. Next up, every graphics setting explained. Every slider, every trade-off, and the one setting I personally change first in every single game. Click the video on screen, and I'll see you there.